Greetings, everyone. Sorry about that. Tina is in the hospital again. Serious problems. All right. Uh, Hopefully, she'll be better by next week. But next week, I have to go to the doctor on a Tuesday, so we're going to have to change the day again. But people, any questions, please send them to hawksblood1aol.com. Uh, I answer all my email sooner or later, usually sooner. Hold on, let me just fix this real fast. All right, I hope you read the title. All right, probably I am probably the most hardcore speaker out there in the UFO world and spiritual world, for a word. I'm a rebel, hardcore, but it's all based on actual proof that I have proven to myself is real. I don't take anybody's story generally unless I get into deep conversation, which I did with Tina when I first met her. I feel she's one of the most honest, true people out there in the UFO world. Talking about abduction. Yeah, there's been two other famous people. I know Fire in the Sky, I'm sure you heard that story. But he doesn't know half of what went on. And it wasn't like he was being abducted all the time, not like they took his children and all those kind of things. Tina's story is incredible. Please buy a book. It's really cheap and it's only 90 pages, so it's easy to read. But if you want the inside truth, please. Uh, the cover is on the beginning of the show. So, sorry, Tina. Hope you get better. We'll talk soon. All right. Where do we start with this horrible situation going on in the UFO world? Well, we have the government renaming UFOs to what? Unidentified uh, phenomena? Really? It's just to take people's attention off the truth of what it really is, which they're not going to release. Then we have people like Stephen Greer promoting the worst lies in the UFO world altogether, claiming no aliens are bad. They're here to help us, and we need to talk to them. So he creates groups to go out and shine lights and see ships in the sky, claiming that they're going to help us. No, they're not. They never did and never will. They're not human like we are. They don't think like we are. They don't have feelings and emotions like we do. All right, I worked with abductees since I was about 17. I was born 1952. But by the time I was 6 years old, I saw my first UFO come and abduct my brother. So, people, I'm not a dreamer. I don't do drugs. I don't pretend to know anything that I don't. Everything I speak about is personal experiences that I had or direct friends that I am really closely dealing with. And sadly, most of them have been taken out, all right, since about 30 years ago. All right. Good friend, Sean David Morton, he's still going for all kinds of treatment. He came out of jail, suffering with cancer that he got in jail. They did all kinds of things to him while he was in jail, like putting 150 false charges on him. He was a sovereign citizen, so he couldn't testify for himself. But people listen to people's stories about him. I knew him for a long time. I was pretty close to him. He came to stay with me whenever he was in New York doing the workshops there. Uh, I went out to his house a couple times. So he's a real person. He's not rich. Never was rich. Never took millions of dollars like they said he did. And in jail, they tried to keep him quiet. Now, people, I only deal with cool people. And basically, he was the first person to go out to Area 51 and bring people out there to actually see the mothership come in there. Came in every couple of weeks. He would rent a van, get 6 people, and they'd all go out there on the mountain, which they bought because they captured him there. You're going to have to give me one split second. Hold on. Sorry about that. All right. Now, basically, They tried to shut him up because of that. His book is one of the most important books out there, Sands of Time. It's multiple series now, but it's the most true stuff you're going to read. Now, the only other book that I actually promote and tell people to buy, he was also killed out of the 16 people that I know, Fred Bell. His book is really important. There's more facts in there than anybody else put out there because he did work with the government. He was working on a UFO. He worked on the HARP system. So who knows more about it than he does? He was friends with Billy Myers, but he also worked with the Pleiadians. And the Pleiadians aren't aliens per se. Now, the Pleiadians are us from the future. So if we destroyed ourselves now, they wouldn't exist either. So people, do you want the truth? Do you want to listen to these, I hate to say bad words, which they all should be called, the storytellers in the UFO world, the liars, the fantasizers, the dreamers. Now, in the UFO world, they created a new word, I don't know how many years ago, called experiencer. All it means is people that were programmed by either the government or aliens. They claim that it was a good trip, which they didn't have. Nobody's taken and put on a ship and things happen for any good reason, people. I've been in this all my life. Never met a person that had a real, true, good story to tell me through hypnosis, past life regression, all those kind of words. I've been doing that since I was 17. People, I worked and met women that lost their children 1 month before they were given birth. And they actually went to the hospital, and the hospital said no, she couldn't have been pregnant even though the day before she had the sonogram taken, they saw the baby and everything. There wasn't a trace left in her body after. People, nobody talks about that in the UFO world. Everybody wants to deal with the government. The government has created multiple programs since the 40s. Truman created MK-12, and they're still in existence, the most powerful group of people controlling the whole UFO world movement, meaning it's not moving publicly. So when we talk about stuff that I experienced, it's mine, Tina's experience, except a few people like Sean David Martin, Fred Bell, and he was one of the coolest guys I met. All right, and he did a show with Jesse Ventura. And in the beginning of the show, Jesse goes to him, "Aren't you worried about the government coming after you?" He goes, "No, I work for the government." And Jesse goes, "Well, what about me?" He goes, "Don't worry, you're so high up there, they can't just take you out." So after the show, he went back to his hotel room. He was found dead a day later. People, the government still are picky who they take out, and it depends what they're saying. Now, Phil Snyder, the second most important UFO story out there, was taken out by the you know what. And now the only thing that's kind of stuck out there that people kind of believe that he committed suicide. If you saw his body, the things that happened to his body, there's no possible way he could have inflicted that on himself. He lectured for a couple months before they took him out and said he committed suicide. He had more truth about what goes on than anybody else. He was in one of the most dangerous, bad wars that happened on our planet in the United States. People, do you want the truth? Look for it. Don't listen to these people at the conferences. Ancient Aliens is a bunch of garbage, people. They've been out 15, 16 years. They still talk about the pyramids like, well, maybe the aliens helped them. Maybe. They have no clue to the truth. I was next to a ship. I was next to an alien. I was next to a Bigfoot. People, I'm not bragging. I'm just telling you the truth. I filmed with a person, I'm not going to say his name, in the UFO world for years up at Wanakue, Montauk. I actually went out there too, but in Wanakue, which was Tesla was working with DuPont in Underground City there. The most important UFO story happened there, which nobody talks about. And then you had Phil Snyder. when he died, 1996 was a bad year for the UFO world. Many people were taken out. Top scientists were taken out that year. And then could say MJ took over everything. But a person, John Ford, Ford, is still in the nut house since 1996. He filmed, and nobody can lie or tell a difference or anything about it. He filmed the best video ever taken of a ship that crashed in Long Island. I went out there where it crashed, and it did. But he thought the government was going to come after him, so he sent it around the world to 4 places, saying it only gets released if he gets killed. The government knew that. So they're keeping him in the nut house. He's actually okay to go. I mean, he's actually allowed to go for parole, get out of there, and go to court to state his case, which they won't let him because then he could show his video, which they don't want released. I mean, out of all the videos ever shot in our history, it was the best video taken of a ship that crashed on the ground. All right. And now, if you knew him, I got to see the video. So I'm not saying it's fake, and it wasn't. 96 was when it happened. No, we weren't into computer programming and changing things and making them real or fake. But in reality, there's a few people that are in jail due to MJ-12 based on framing a person in the Navy who was going to release all the files, and they framed him for killing a person. People, why am I here? No clue. But again, the person I worked with for years, we were lecturing around the United States with global sciences and other things. But at that time, people didn't really care because we showed pictures of UFOs, entities, creatures, certain things he did I didn't like, smoke creatures and stuff in clouds of smoke. But the actual pictures of ships, we had more pictures than anybody else out there. And we put them up. We had disagreements many times, so we split up for a couple of years and made friends again. I was doing a show with Kerry Cassidy. So I invited him on as my co-host for 9 months. We showed pictures of UFOs every week, at least 5 pictures. Nobody paid any attention, except in our chat room, we always had 50, 60 people every time we did our show. The next morning, we would always get hit by 1,200 people. All right. But there's a serious thing that went down. We had another fight. He doesn't like Sean David Martin. I'm not going to get into the whole story. But we had a fight. And then I ended the show because they wanted me to pay $50 a show, which I'm not going to pay $50 to do a show. So I say he sold out. He came into a lot of money. He disappears for a couple of years at a time. He didn't talk about UFOs and everything for a long period of time. When he came out, it was no longer UFOs. He removed everything off of the internet that we had online. Pictures, shows. Even the show we did, Strange Universe, there was a video up about that, and that was taken down. Luckily, I still have a copy, and I put it out there here and there. Don't ask me how he got that taken down, but if he was working with the government, obviously they could take anything down. So in the interim, he came out, and now, first he came out saying he was Lord Sargel, all right, claiming he was a high spiritual being. So we got into a debate. He started attacking me, had people attacking me on this site. So I just said, okay, it's over. But then he's coming out. He's got his show back out there. Now he's claiming to be a disciple of Jesus. And I challenge him, which he can't do. Even when we were friends, I said, okay, ask Jesus a question and I'll give you a question to ask him. He goes, you're right. He couldn't even answer the question. He just said, you're right. But again, my life, I'm aware of all my past lives back to Atlantis, including my life with Jesus. So if he wants to go about saying anything about Jesus in any name, he has no clue. He doesn't even know anything about the Bible. And most people, and this is where I'm going to get hardcore again, there's 2.5 billion Christians in the United States and the rest of the world. But maybe, 10 of them, 15 of them know what Jesus was really teaching. He wasn't teaching the bull that was put in the Bible. Remember, when he was teaching these people, he was teaching his disciples certain things, but he wasn't teaching the public the same thing. He gave them simple teachings. But even then, even his paraphrasing and different aspects of trying to say things that they might understand it, he had to use words they could understand. They were simple-minded people. Farmers, fishermen, horseshoe makers, and what? So, again, their vocabulary was limited. Their awareness was super limited. And the word God didn't exist, really, people. I mean, Jesus always said his Father. Because how do you explain to a person that's just fishing all his life and you go, hey, God's out there. What's God? Well, what? He? It's not a he, first off. How does he teach them anything about it? He had to use the word Father because everybody had a father, whether they knew him a lot or not, but had to understand the idea that a father gives their child what they need, hopefully, doesn't beat their child, hopefully, all these things, which a father was. But it was the only word he could give to them to relate to a God. And the closest we should have with it, not against it, not trying to control it, not trying to make it do things that we want it to do. Everybody prays to tell God to do something. God doesn't have to ask or get permission from anybody on this planet to do anything. It does what it wants. But here's the serious problem, people. God doesn't deal with planet Earth. That's why there's angels. That's why there's deities. And that's why there's demons and Satan. People get confused about Lucifer. You know, all these things. He's a fallen angel like all the other angels fell with him. But out of there's 9 mentioned in the beginning of the Bible. And in the end, John writes about hundreds of them. So when people go, well, I met Gabriel or I met Michael, they can't name the other, 7 or 8 angels? Never mind, these aliens that are coming here have been playing an aspect of higher power, and even in the dictionary, super powerful, higher powerful. That's their definition of God. Very people have any understanding of what God really is. Nothing in the Bible relates to a real God. It doesn't come into this world. It can't, because its vibration would blow this planet apart. Second of all, Jesus came here to teach about God, not about protecting your sorry ass. All right? And when he talked about sin to his people, he said, go out and sin no more. All right? Doesn't mean come back next week and ask for forgiveness again. And if you knew that, obviously you'd have to live the rest of your life without sinning. Because when you know something's wrong and do it, you're responsible. Jesus said that. But if you don't know something's wrong, how can you be responsible for what you don't know? When you're born, your parents teach you certain things, but they don't teach you the truth because they don't have it. So you have to learn by yourself. Everything you learn, you're going to learn by yourself. Now, when we put aliens into this whole thing, it makes it 10 times worse because they're playing what we assume is a god. The Egyptians, the Mayans, the Aztecs, the Zapotecs were a little different, but they believed in what they were following, which were aliens. Not God in any form. Aliens controlled them. Now, I had a teacher for a few years. I have to say 6 years. A Tibetan master, and he taught me a lot of things, but he wanted to teach me how to read hieroglyphics. He could read anything and translate it, but I can't even remember the English language, never mind try to learn another language. I have a couple of different problems. My mind always did. They didn't even know what it was when I was little. Reversing things and hypertension, hyperactive, and all those words. I couldn't deal with it. I still have a problem. I can't remember names, period. But here's the thing. Ancient Aliens goes into drips and dribs about the pyramids, but they can't talk about they're working with these negative aliens. If you look at the hieroglyphics of Egyptians' reincarnation, it's totally ridiculous. What they did to the bodies of people reincarnating was ridiculous. And they recently, about a couple of years ago, they found 120 skeleton bodies. What they did to these people to help them reincarnate. Really? You don't break your jawbone out, rip their brain out of their skull, and all those kind of things to reincarnate back into a body. Their whole idea of teachings were sick. Now, going back to Atlantis was the only time the human race was spiritual. And then two alien races came down and destroyed it. Then they reprogrammed. They didn't create man. The Anunnaki did not create man. All these ridiculous stories. The story of Thoth is twisted by man again. He was allowed to bring 9 races to this planet by the Council of 9, which exists on the astral plane. And there were 9 races here when I was alive during that time frame. 5 of them, and they're all different colors. All right, 5 races left because they attained spiritual awareness and left this reality. And then after that was when Atlantis was destroyed. But the aliens decided to reprogram man because they didn't want spiritual people walking around on the planet that they couldn't control. That's when sacrifice, torture, all those kind of words came into play. Eating animals and all those things that didn't happen before. And now the last thing, and I'll get back to the main topic, why they did that. What were they here for? And the stories going on about gold. Aliens are super advanced than we are technically. They could make gold before the human race was even here. So to say that they had to come here to mine gold is ridiculous. They could have just went to any king or whatever, queen, go in there and take all the gold. They always had tons of gold. And if the aliens needed it, it would have all been gone. Even when the trade center went down, all that gold disappeared too. But again, aliens didn't come here for gold. They don't need gold. It doesn't control the atmosphere around their planet or planets. People get fed horrible, ridiculous, stupid stories and no proof at all to prove any of it. They cannot prove a black hole is real. They can't prove that the world was created by a big bang. All these ridiculous theories. I mean, when we were little, we had evolution and we evolved from a monkey, which is another lie that was put on everybody. And they knew it was a lie. All right. Now, people, if you're coming in anytime now or soon, whatever, I deal with truth, people. You don't want truth, leave. That's all I can say. I don't deal with lies. I don't deal with liars, storytellers, like the UFO world is right now. Now, let's go to 2 things. I'm going to get my hands in the right place. Can't even figure out cameras. My eyes go backwards. All right. Aliens, government. All right. The government is rewording aliens. They don't like UFOs, so they're creating unidentified aerial phenomena, which is a way to cover up what UFOs are. Make it sound just like strange energies and strange this and strange that. It's not strange, people. There's a ship with an alien in it driving it. What's strange about it? Nothing. What they do is bad, not strange. So, and then we got the UFO people. What are they concerned about? Nothing important. All they want to do is attack our government. Why do you need to attack our government? Well, they did all these projects and it was against the law, against this, and against the Constitution. Constitution was created to control people. First off, people. You don't even know that. It took away people's rights, not gave them any. You lost your freedom for your home and everything else you did or do. So a constitution was evil. All right, when they first came into the United States, what did they do? Stole things from the native people? Sorry. Created a constitution. Why? Because they didn't want people to have rights. Poor people. The rich people were the people in power. Even the right electoral vote was to create a way that people couldn't vote for the president. They wanted to keep full control over that. Jefferson fought for that at least, even though he was one of the biggest massive Native American killers. All right, people. Now, We get to a government now. What is their place? What is their purpose? They're actually trying to defend the planet, people, whether you want to know that or not. All the projects, sure, money's always involved. Money is always going to be involved, and so is power. But they are defending the planet for the rich people, not for you and me, but for people they build underground cities for. Does anybody care about that? No. Does anybody talk about that? No. Did anybody watch the video put up of the Mr. Bush and ceremony, black magic, and all that stuff? Well, who cares? It should care because a person, if they're a good person, do good things. If they don't, they're not a good person, obviously. But people has this idea that there's no such thing as bad. Well, that's your choice to live in a world like that, which means hell, where we are. This is the only place you can see, feel, experience pain and suffering. Create it, cause it, all those words. When you die, your soul goes to the plane. It doesn't exist there, but most people don't have the right or the ability to stay there. They got to reincarnate back here. So we got this going on. Now, all these UFO speakers out there trying to attack our government, blaming them. They should be fined. They should be put in jail. They should this, that, and everything. Now, when they go to court with Congress, Congress, on the other hand, have to defend what they did without saying what they actually did. They can't say we have war with government. All right? They can't. Our government's at war. All right? Are they going to say that that government is fighting with aliens? All right? Russia knows deeply as much as we do. And they should have listened to what Putin said to Mr. Trump when he met him, and even put it on Russian TV about aliens. All right? It's not a secret. I mean, because the way the UFO world handles things, it's going to be a secret. Can they tell you that they gave the rights to aliens to abduct people for a trade of weapons? I mean, there's 9 races coming here. I mean, there's many other races, but they can't do a thing because they don't have the power to. Always the people in power control everything. If you go into a city with a pellet gun and they all got machine guns, who's going to walk out of there alive? You with your pellet gun? No. That's why they slaughtered the native people. And our Congress and our government killed 50 million native people. In the name of what? Freedom? Freedom for them to kill the native people, calling them Indians. Indians of what? Demons? People, you follow a pathetic, twisted idea of life. You don't even know why you're here. Now, religions were created a long time ago. I want to bring that in back to Congress. Okay, religion, the first religion on this planet was Hinduism. All right, they were worshiping deities. Deities are real. They're entities that God allowed to be. All right, but slowly that changed. Deities stopped coming here and working with people. But in Hinduism, the whole time of the creating of religion, that religion was only about sex and sex energy. Don't believe me? Check it out. Shiva, Durga, Kali, all the deities. It was all about sex. Not about God, not about anything else. So when that phased out, aliens took the role and played that. And people followed them because they had power. They had limited abilities and still do. Just like Caroline Corey in the UFO world claims she could levitate things, piece of paper, and control people's DNA. Well, you're not controlling DNA, you're controlling energy, and energy is easy to control. Medicine woman I dealt with was the first person teaching how to heal your food that you eat a long time ago, and she worked with the government at that time. People, do you want to follow the lies or you want to find the truth? Go to every UFO conference, you're going to learn very little about anything important. There's 100 projects or more. And one of the persons that worked for MJ12 released all those names, people, and then he was killed. His family was killed first, and then he was killed. People, I knew one of the people from MJ12, the one that was killed, obviously. Why? I'm not going to go into it. But people, there's things happening right now that you should be worried about. War is one thing, yes, but who's controlling the war? Why are we having wars? What are we fighting over? Property, land, gold. What else are we really fighting for? Power, big ego, big name. People think about it. Why are you here living in this time frame? Now, I'm going to bring the religion back. Hey, greetings. Aloha. Greetings. Now, when they brought religion into the UFO world in Congress, there were two people in Congress said they're demons. Guess he was religious and he didn't want to say the word aliens, so he said they're demons. You know, when we're battling over aliens and what they're doing and what they did, Congress, all those people in Congress are old people that have no clue, right, to the truth of anything. They don't know anything about demons, even. I guarantee it. They don't know anything about aliens, either. The truth, any truth aspect of that. So we got these meetings going on between Stephen Greer and Congress talking about, oh, aliens are all good. What program did he get programmed by who and how and why? All right. I write him a letter every single day. He didn't block me yet. 5 other people did. Michael Sal was the first person to block me. And all he did was attack the government as well. He lived in Hawaii. He moved out. All right. But then there's a few other people. Corey Good, who's a great storyteller. I mean, stories, what people like, whether they're real or not, I don't think it really matters to people that like to listen to stories. Because the UFO world is crashing at every level by people involved in it and what we bring out, what we did. When I was lecturing, and we went around the United States from 96 to 2002, all those years in between that, all right, a person I work with was the main speaker at all of them. I was his co-host speaker. But basically, he changed as well. All right, but getting back to the point, the UFO world is not talking about anything important. What the government did, they did. What aliens did, they did. The only thing that should matter is what's happening now. All the energy put on pyramids, I see you. It's not just greed, it's power. Power is more important than greed. You could be powerful and have some money, like Musk. And I write him a letter every day, 2 or 3, maybe even 10 letters a day. He's a liar. I keep telling him he's a liar directly. All he can do is put up games for people to play. I said, with all your money and trying to go to Mars and putting ships in space, and you talk about saving the planet, I said, don't send 10 ships up. You could probably feed all the homeless people in the United States, the homeless children. I harass him every day. He's doing evil things. He's not doing positive things, and he brags about saving the planet. And people think he is. Electric cars are not going to save the planet, people. They're going to still need batteries. And batteries are a destruction to our world. That's just one thing. What the government's doing and not telling you is what's causing the main global warming problems. And you need to check on those things because they were all given to the United States government by guess who? Tesla, the real Tesla. He wasn't as evil as it sounds, but he did say these people are not going to use anything I give them wisely. Right before he died. I saw his personal notes. He worked up in New Jersey, underground with DuPont. The most important UFO story happened there, people. And the things that came after it were the worst things that could have ever happened to this planet. And still are. But you don't even know it, any of it. Not one thing. You know much about time travel? Do you know when it started? You know who was the first person? I was friends with him. He even told me I can't die until next month, and he died that month. Because he was in a 20-year cycle, and they couldn't take him out any time between that. But that's just one story. Do you want truth about anything? Aliens aren't good. There has never been a good alien race on this planet, coming to this planet, people. I don't know if you want to call it giants aliens or not, but they were all killed. There's a few in hiding and stuff like that, like Bigfoot and all that. But again, they weren't spiritual. Giants were never spiritual. I mean, the book of Enoch was taken out of the Bible because what? They killed Enoch, one of the giants, and that's the only story that's in the Bible. Sure, they were giants. And all the little people killed all the giants. Why? Think about it, people. You want truth. You read the Bible like it's actual words and truth. When a man writes something, 99% of it is twisted, people. The honest truth. From the Anunnaki stories, from Zechariah Sitchin trying to translate it. Really? He caused one of the most serious problems to the UFO world, especially when he brought the Anunnaki in. And many people I know claim this and that and all about the Anunnaki. People I know are probably the top speakers in the world about the Anunnaki, and it's all lies. We have many fights. I have fights with everybody because everybody wants to deal in ignorance. The truth is, there's 9 alien races coming here. Not one of them is doing anything beneficial. Oh, well, they want to stop what? No, they don't. Because they shut our power, our nuclear things off and everything, what, for an hour here, there, and everywhere, for within a year. Does that mean they're trying to help us? Watch the day the earth stood still. If anything good was going to happen from aliens, that's the way it would go down. No other way. I mean, if you watch the movie V, is the way it is going down. The new version, not the old version of V, the newest version. There's a series on TV, I think, for 6 months. I mean, they fly over us, we become friends with them, they start training us and working with us. Watch it. It's an incredible story of what could happen and probably will happen. There's no good alien. You know, it's like, I'm a good father. Really? You're a good father? You go into the corner, you're walking your child, the light turns red, and your child's going to run across the street. A good father would stop him, right? A bad father would say, hurry up. You know, knowing the truth and being able to deal with it and work with it is really not easy. But then again, dealing with the lies is much dangerous, more dangerous. So getting back to Congress, and the battle going on about them changing the name to unidentified aerial phenomena. Well, they don't want to say people, it's a UFO with an alien driving it. They want to say anything but that. Every story that happened in the UFO world was twisted into a ridiculous story, including the story about John Ford. He was next to a ship, crashed on the ground, and took videos of it. The story the government created said he had a barrel of uranium and was going to kill people in Congress by putting it in a toothpaste. Here's some uranium. I'm going to squeeze it in that toothpaste and kill him. Really? And people never said another word about it. He's been in jail since 96. After, I think it was, 6 years, he was allowed to go to court. And then every year, the government comes in and says, oh, no, we have to reevaluate him, which means they keep him in a nut house for another year. He had, I think, 6 lawyers trying to help him. Not one of them could help him at all, because the government comes in and says, nope, we're going to reevaluate him. The day before he goes to court, they say, nope, we got to reevaluate him. They won't ever let that video out if they can possibly help it. But if he dies, the video will come out. But it was filmed a long time ago, so it doesn't really matter anyway. They're proving ships have been crashing here and attacking ships and doing all these other things. But you can hear the UFO world talking about that rather than, well, the government's doing bad things. Really? They're defending the planet. Now, in a wartime, what's more important, saving a child or saving a city? Think about it. It seems like people here think saving one child is more important than saving the city. A person that gives the order to kill a city, destroy a town, is evil, people. They have no faith, no truth, and no understanding of a real God either. So the UFO people, I know most of them challenge and debate them, and I won't debate them. They're afraid to. They all have no balls. I'd say, come on out. You got a pair of balls. Debate me live or offline. I'll put you in place with your lies and your twisted stories you're telling everybody. No good aliens have been here. The people call themselves experiences are taken. Oh, the aliens came in my room and took me on a trip, and we went to Mars, Venus, Jupiter, went through the solar system. Really? They got nothing else to do. Come down here and take people on tours around the universe. Why? They come here for a few things only, people, and the UFO world doesn't talk about it. Why? Because what they are here for are a couple main things. for? Want me to name them for you in case you don't know? The first thing is food, and not plants and vegetables. No, food. Second thing is ovaries from a woman, semen from a man, and blood from everything, and body parts. Okay? That's all they're here for. Not your gold, not your house, not your car, nothing like that. Not at all. When I was with the person I work with, we actually filmed the ship going in Hudson River, scooping up water and going back out into space. All right? We saw a lot of things. And it's much more important what they're really doing than what these people bring out. It's not about what the government did. More people are being abducted today, right now, around the world, in parks, disappearing, or temporary mental blind spot where they get missing time. Well, that's been going on for a very long time. And guess who was responsible for that? Truman was. And he gave the orders that if an alien abducts a person, they can't remember what happened. So two people broke out of that program, like Travis Walton and a few other people. But what happened at that point, it's not working. So now what they do is reprogram a person and tell them they had a great experience. Oh, I was taken on a trip. Yeah, what'd you have for dinner? Where'd you go out to eat? What were they wearing, really? What kind of restaurant was it? I mean, the facts are they have programs twisted with their mind that make everything good. It's not good, people. Nothing they do is helping mankind. I'm going to tell you a secret. Tina's not here. She's a great co host. I miss her. She's always in trouble because she is radioactive, because she was really abducted. I mean, they took her children, created a whole army of children on a ship of her and everything else. Read her story. But she had more implants removed. She had some incredible growth in her stomach removed, and the government can't release it. All kinds of truth that nobody else in the UFO world has. I'm surprised they're not going after her. We prove she's radioactive whenever she's on our show. She even brought another Geiger counter to prove it. But in the interim, she has ships over her house every night. She could go out right now at nighttime, take a picture of a ship over her house. They follow her. I told her. They're keeping her alive. She passed out, fell down, split her leg wide open just now. And that's why she's in the hospital. The radiation, when we first started, she was telling me she was passing out and different things. Her teeth are falling out, her hair's falling out, her nails are falling out. I said, you're radioactive. And then I made her buy a Geiger counter, which I bought. I'm not going to take it out because I'm not radioactive. But from that day on, we take it out almost every show to prove it. But if a person was that radioactive, did you ever watch the movie, I guess it was called Silkwood? Cher was the person exposed to radiation and all that. I'll watch it. Radiation's deadly. It's not curable. I mean, they say you have cures to help it. I'm sure the government does now. All right. But she's radioactive. And nobody's helping her. She's going through all kinds of treatments, seeing all kinds of doctors, and they can't help her with an answer. Everybody renames it to something else. Her story's incredible. She has, I don't know how many holes in her pelvic bone, and the doctors say, well, that's impossible. How could that happen? When they're doing experiments on a ship, they do a lot of weird things that we have no reason understanding why. But getting back to the UFO world, these people. I mean, I joined the site, Skinwalker Ranch, Richard Dolan's site. Not one of them will directly talk to me. They're all afraid to. I mean, this year, they're coming back out, on the 30th. Is the government going to let them show them dig up a UFO? I doubt it. See what happens. Okay, now, when we have people coming and doing TV shows showing the truth, how much do they let show on TV? Jesse Ventura had a show for 2.5 years, and I was surprised it stayed on that long. He exposed everything: underground cities, the HARP system, the New World Order, everything. And then into the third year, the second month, they took him off the air right away. Well, he was supposed to run for president with Kennedy, but Kennedy changed his mind. I think it would have been great. But people don't even know Jesse Ventura, what he is. Oh, he was a boxer. Oh, he was in the army. No, he was a whistleblower on exposing the truth that nobody else has ever exposed. And every show was about exposing something, which people need to know. How much you know about underground cities? How much do you know about the HARP system? How much you know about directed energy beams or any of that? Anything? Congress, I bet if you got everybody in Congress, sat them down, asked each one of them all these questions, they wouldn't be able to answer one of them. Even about geothermal, fracking. Oh, well, they're getting energy from the earth. Yeah, how? What are they putting in the earth? What chemicals are they actually injecting into the earth? I mean, these people have zero clue about what's really going on and control your life. The Constitution took away every right you had and gave you false info and truth to live by. I mean, our government wasn't created to give us freedom. It was only created to take it away. Remember that, people. You should have the right to smoke in your house. Who has the right to tell you you can't? Smoke anything you want. All right. I mean, there's things you should be aware of, but the most important thing is you should be aware that you're responsible back to God, not the Congress or the president. But that doesn't exist anymore. I mean, as we go further into this world of lies, you're going to find out real soon. Like I said, by the end of the year, the government's going to release their spaceship. It'll make the United States #1 again. It has every weapon known to man on it, plus weapons that most people have no clue about. It costs $40 billion to make it. So I guess it's pretty well elaborate in what it has on there. Tesla's weapons that they gave to the government are the destruction for this planet, sooner or later. Now, so we got Congress twisted and molded into what they can't say, which they don't know. And we got the UFO world trying to force them to say stuff about projects that have no important truth to us right now. Where do you think we're going? Nowhere. Nowhere fast. Is it going to help people? You know, we're in serious trouble. Not only with war and why and all those other things. I mean, every war we had was evil. Vietnam War. They were putting children 14 years old out in the battlefield. You know, man's idea of truth is a lie. The idea of protection is a lie. They can't protect you. Tina goes into it all the time. She doesn't have any religion. Why? Because nobody can help her or will. People that get abducted should be a natural sickness or taken care of as a problem. Because once you see an alien, which I did, your life changes. You change. Your truth is changed. Not by a program or something else, by reality. When you see a car crash, somebody get killed, that changes your reality. Get sexually abused, that changes your reality. Completely forever. So all these things that are happening, people aren't making the world a better place. You pull up X, which I've been on all the time now, has the most violent videos up every day. That's not freedom. That's not freedom of speech. That's violence, and violence isn't freedom. Truth is one thing, but violence is not the same. Aliens come here in violence, not in peace. You don't abduct people in the name of peace. You don't take their children in the name of peace. Abduction means taken without your, awareness or allowing them to? Did you ever see an alien ship land on a property and they walk up to, knock, knock, who's there? Mr. Alien, what do you want? Well, you want to come on a trip with us? We're going to take you out into space, all right? I'm sure people would. I mean, there's so many people that want to go on a ship right now, even if it's just to go up and fly around the earth. But if an alien came down, oh, I'd love to go on a ship. Really? Do you know what they eat? Do you have a clue? Do you want to know why they're here? Do you even understand anything about it? No. So, when you're programmed, which most people are, have no clue about aliens at any level. And Stephen Greer coming out saying, all aliens are good. We need to talk to them. They're going to help us. Never did and never will. They're not here to help us. They're thousands of years more technically advanced than us. What do they need us for? To bring them backwards? It's like saying, I'm going to go to an ant colony and teach them how to fly. All right. We can't do what we think we can. And we don't do what we should be doing. I'm putting a book out for women only. And it comes out next week. It's because women are the biggest abused on the planet, more than men are, and then children. Now, how do I know? I've been involved with just about everything you can possibly imagine, good, bad, and indifferent. Most of the things I didn't volunteer to go into, was forced into. Seeing my first alien, seeing my first ship, all those things, people. When I stood next to a Bigfoot, I freaked. I wish I didn't. To this day, I wish I did have stood there. But I started running back to the van screaming, hey, my friend. I said, get the camera out, because I thought sure it was chasing me. I don't want to go into that story. It's a whole different story. Now, when we talk about the UFO conferences, they're making tons of money. Do you know these speakers, Adam? Do you know what the top speaker gets paid at a conference? $15,000, $20,000 to speak for what? 2 hours? Oh, but they're forced to have dinner with everybody on a Friday night. Wow, I just think I'd become a famous speaker. I could have been famous even after I split up with my partner at the time. All I have to do is lie. Tell stories. I can't do it. If Mr. Musk, which he lies about giving me money, I say, okay, I do it. Okay, where's the money, Mr. Musk? You're a liar. He says a lot of things, but he doesn't follow through with that. He doesn't know about God. He doesn't know about religion. He doesn't know about life. Then he asks the question, what's more important? Love, compassion? I mean, he goes into these things because he's single, and they say, should he get a girlfriend or should he worry about saving the planet? I go, you're not saving the planet, so you might as well get a girlfriend and be happy. So, again, people, you listen to people. Why? Because they're famous and rich and have money. You don't listen to poor people. Oh, well, they don't know nothing. They're poor. They live in a shack. Well, they just, I can get into that in detail. The most spiritual people are the least followed or least known. And I never say I'm spiritual. And I won't be until I leave this planet. Spiritual people don't walk around in hell. They don't live under the rules of hell. They don't deal with people acting like they are demons or whatever words you want to use. We're corrupt at every level. I mean, it was bad when Jesus was here. But he said there'll be one many greater than him, which never happened. All right, I'm not saying it's a lie. He was just hoping something good could happen. But sadly, nobody's able to take his place. Caroline Corey claims she could levitate something. Oh, I could levitate a piece of paper. Oh, I can change people's DNA. Well, the medicine woman I studied with for 26 years does this exercise to heal your food and everything else. She worked with Kruger, a medicine a scientist, and proved that the energy changes. That's what Caroline Corey's doing. Oh, not sorry. Yeah, Caroline Corey is actually claiming that. She had scientists with all these machines and everything. The water's changing. Well, changing energy is not that complicated. Everything's energy, and everything moves, and it's easy to move things if you have the right abilities. I'm not talking about spiritual abilities because they're much more powerful. If you had 32 psychic gifts like Jesus had and Mary Magdalene had, you'd be able to do anything. Why did he die? Why? Because he came here to die. He didn't come here to live, people. And he's off the cross. He's not on the cross, people. Why do you want to put him on a cross when he came here? Oh, he's there to forgive my sins. That means you can go out and stab somebody. Jesus, take my sins away. When a person goes to a priest and asks for forgiveness, really? It's called karma. Buddha was 100% right about karma. What we create, we're responsible for, and we have to pay it off. Congress sitting there looking pretty, they're going to be paid the rest of their life no matter what. They don't care. The UFO people are making money now, put out a book on whatever, and it's all lies, but they're going to sell it, hopefully, if they're famous. My book's coming out. You know how a person gets a book famous right away? Go to New York City and give them $4,000. They'll put it as the bestseller on Wall Street. It's that simple. If I had money, I'd make sure this book I'm putting out, my book before this too as well, would be out there mainstream. True Teachings of Jesus. But people don't want the truth. They're more impressed by lies. Lies sound good, but usually not beneficial, really. When you listen to Stephen Greer, and he gets these people to go out at nighttime, shining lights in the sky, do meditation, and start talking aliens, there wasn't anything important said ever yet. Now, to show you how bad it's becoming, a temple up in Tibet on the mountain. These lamas and people get there, and you can't get there easily. The people that did the video of it walked and had to travel for a long thing to get there. And they put these machines on these Buddhas, lamas meditating and things like that. Their energy changes. You meditate, it changes your energy. You're going from thinking about girls, you're thinking about Batman, you're thinking about what? Flowers. I mean, it changes your energy. It's just a vibration. And they said the only thing they were given, they didn't say only, they said what we were given something that was going to happen. Wow. When the Hopi people met with the Tibetan people, the prophecy was exactly the same. And it said they were both going to be destroyed. Now, Tibet was taken over by China. If you don't know that, they destroyed 250 temples. They raped and killed many lamas and the women. They put so many in jail as well. If a person had a Dalai Lama's picture on the wall, he was arrested. The city was taken over, but they were begging for help from the United States and every other country. Nobody helped them. Why? Because they had nothing to offer. People don't help people unless they can get something back. Well, a few good people just give because they think that's the right way to be as well. Now, the good finish last. Well, that's a true statement as well. But what's good in reality? There's only one reason why you're here. I'm not going to go into it. Listen to my shows when I do spiritual workshops and things like that. But why are you here, person? Each person, why are you here? Think about it. To have a family, to have kids, 10 kids, 20 kids, to buy a nice house and a car, get a nice job, make some money, buy some good food. Then what? What are you doing? What would you actually say you're doing for God? Well, there was a homeless person and they gave him $10. Does that change that person's life at all? For a day, for an hour, for a minute? People, we lost compassion. We never had love, really. And then when did they put the blame and the truth and everything on Jesus? Why? He was the only one that brought the truth out about a real God. All the beings and people talk about what? The deities. All right. And then again, who killed Jesus? Even his own people helped kill him. Because, if they couldn't get something from him, what good is he? And when Jesus was being killed, who did they let free? Killers. Well, they're my friends. Jesus is just a walker. He just came in and walked out. People only do things for what they can get. Who work to get money. But selling children and all the things that men and government and everybody else is into, and then you don't have the right to smoke marijuana while they make tons of money off of the hardcore drugs, does that make any sense at all? People, aliens are here for a reason. And it's sure not to help you or me. And I can say this because I was protected and I always will be. My brother was being abducted. A ship came down trying to beam of light on him in the hospital. The ship was right outside the window, well, 100 feet away. And what did I do? I was 6 years old. I jumped in front of the window and let the beam hit me. And guess what? The ship shot out into space. I could go into multiple stories like that. Why I know I'm protected from aliens. Spiritual people cannot be abducted people, and there's a reason for that. Energy levels. You know what a Collier camera is? It can film your energy. And I was at a whole life expo in New York City, and they had two different people doing auras and things like that. One took a picture of your body, one took a picture of your hand, and I said, "Wow, my aura is good." He goes, "I bet you it's not." And I said, "It's probably better than anybody else you have here." And he goes, "I'll do this for free if your aura is better than theirs." And you put your hand on this thing and it takes a picture and it shows your aura around it. And after it came out, he goes, "Wow, your energy is what I teach people to do in years to help them get their aura up to that level." All right, then this other lady was taking a picture of bodies, full person. She goes, "I'll take a picture." And she did. She saw it. She showed me. She goes, "I want you to travel with me." She spoke Spanish heavy. And I said, "I can't speak Spanish at all. But you can." I said, "No, I can't." She wanted me to travel with her. She goes, "Your aura, your energy around you is greater than anybody I ever filmed." I'm not bragging. I'm just saying what people can see if they want to see it. Now, the other thing is, what's this have to do with anything? It has to do with everything. Everybody has an aura, all right? And it's around your body. It doesn't lie. It can't, because it's what you radiate and what you really are. Multiple colors, multiple shapes, forms, but how wide it is, how far from your body it radiates, proves how spiritual you are. And in my lifetime, I only saw two people with an incredible aura. One was the biggest aura I ever saw on a person, a little old lady. She walked into a room with maybe 2,000 people in it, and her light came in like a cloud over all the people, white light. And then when she got even with me, she turns around and looked at me and goes, "I love you." Why did she do that? How did she know? People of a higher level awareness, all right, can see people's auras, and you should be able to. Not that I look at it anymore. I did it for 2 years, and I said, never. I don't want to do it anymore. Because nobody has a good aura. Oh, sure, a little yellow, a little white, a lot more orange, red, green, black, brown. All right, the darker it is, obviously, the worse you are. If it's brown or black with holes in it, you're smoking and drinking. It shows who you are, and you can't hide from it. So I tell people, there's two things you can learn: how to leave your body and how to see people's auras. You'll know who to get involved with, who not to, who to be close to, and who not to be. But I stopped because really, I haven't met anybody that deserves to be the person that, well, they're a light being, and I need to work with them. I have classes for a few people. But again, when a person reaches a certain level and they think they're everything, you probably lose your students. But a teacher should always help their student become better than they are. Otherwise, you're not a real teacher. You're just creating a clone of people working under you. If you're working from God, it's always to get higher no matter. There's always a step further to take in the spiritual world. You never attain the highest level, and you never become God. But what are you trying to attain? Self-awareness, then God realization. God realization doesn't mean you become God. Aliens have no clue. All right? They play God. They don't know God. Even Alnek, she claims she's from Venus. She has no abilities here, and still claims that. I mean, there was 6 people that supposedly came from Venus. The one that went to the White House and stayed there for a year or two, whatever it was, who had abilities. All right, but so what? Did it help anything? You're not here for the reasons that we assume or take or want to believe. Nothing you believe is real or true to what you are as soul. Soul is what aliens can't destroy, government can't destroy. But they can program you to believe something different, and you'll stay here. That's Satan's main goal, to keep souls here until they grow to become aware that they're in hell. Hell's not a place you're going to go to. You are in it. You're trying to get out of it, or should be. Well, I want to live forever because you're afraid to go anywhere else. You don't know anywhere else better than here. Once you learn how to leave your body, the next step is meeting your angels, guides, whatever you want to call it. And they're there. There's enough of them there to help every single person on this planet if they look or want to find them. And when you do, they'll start teaching you. And it's not like they can teach you everything in a day, a week, a year. It takes your whole lifetime to learn what you need to learn. Maybe in half your lifetime you can learn it and then work from there so that you don't create more karma and you could leave and not worry about coming back. Aliens don't know anything. They don't care about that. Power is their ego. Power is their thinking. Destroy, take, rule, control. Government, that's their programming as well. Why don't we have people in government that care about people? You don't kill people. 10 Commandments weren't bad, and well, the 10 Commandments are outdated. No, they're not. There's nothing bad in the 10 Commandments, and there's not one word about love in it either. Moses created 63 laws, which are also totally useless because they came from his ego, which he was a massive killer. People, you follow things and you don't follow the truth. You don't find out all the facts about it. Every alien race has, I wouldn't say anything good, but they have a lot of bad things, and you should know what they are. What's a reptilian look like? What's a gray really look like? There's 6 different grays. What's a draconian look like? What's an Andromedan look like? Well, you see pictures and pictures. Images get created and people adapt them. And once you see something that's in your mind, it could always come as a thought. Near-death experiences, most people don't experience anything important because their mind's locking what they see. You leave your body in a different reality. What are you looking at? A man standing there telling me I'm a good and I can come back or I can't come back? No. And it's not Jesus. It's not God. And it sure isn't your mother or father. They're not angels. People die, don't become angels, people. They're not bodyguards for you forever. If they're here, their soul can stay here. Means they have not attained anything. And they're stuck in hell. I freed a lot of souls on this planet. I'm not bragging about that either. But if you're an aware being, you could help people cross over. That TV show was really cool because she was helping these souls cross over. Helping them family understand the situation, not holding them here. Because if you're attached to something, you will always stay here. Family, kids, animals, whatever. It'll make you want to come back. Not that the idea that people killing all the other bad things, but I love that. I like this, or I love that. Aliens are here for food and every other thing inside your body, not for your heart, not your spiritual heart, for a word, not your love, compassion, just for your body parts, your brain, energy, what it knows. Your brain has a wrinkle for everything it learns. A baby's brain is wrinkleless, and man starts feeding it little wrinkle by little wrinkle, which are probably 90% useless, or even more. Aliens know that. There was a special, I wish I had a recorder at the time. They went to an island with, I think, 130 skeletons. They all had a circle cut in their head, but they were all sitting in different positions and stuff. How did it happen? How could they be sitting in a position like that while they took their brain out? Well, obviously it wasn't humans. They didn't have that kind of technology in whenever they found. Dated the skeletons back too. But there's something, I met a person while I was studying with the Kunlun class, my teacher. One of his students came, was a doctor. They just discovered a crystal inside the brain. It's the crystal that creates the energy that makes you super powerful. It's called adrenaline. It's inside the brain and it produces it when it's aware, however. But it works with the brain. And they only found it. It's super microscopic. All right, it's not like a big crystal inside the brain, no. but it does a lot of things. It stores everything you know. And aliens take that crystal to use it to find out who and what you know. All right, and that's why they did it to these beings in this cave. So if you want truth, you want to know why aliens are here, not to help us survive. You don't let the earth get contaminated, the water get contaminated, the air to get contaminated, and people's minds get contaminated. Even our prison systems are set up for the bad people, not set up for good people. Or to protect good people. All right. I'm not going to go much further. I'm glad you listened. I'm sorry my co-host Tina wasn't here. Next week it's not going to be Tuesday. Don't know what day we'll create, but if you however you get this message, if you friend me on YouTube, you'll always see it. Go to Facebook and friend me, or X, any of them. I'm on all of them, even LinkedIn. Not why, it's mostly business, and I don't do any business. Except maybe I'll try to be promoting my book on that when it's done next week. But people, the truth's out there. You heard that saying. But there's 10 times or 100 times more lies out there. And you have to sift through them to find the truth. No matter how much you know about a person, you probably truly don't know that person unless you can see their aura. Well, maybe I'll do a show just on that one day because people need to know how to do it. It's easy. It's not complicated, but you should be able to. The only problem is you have to get a person to look you in the eyes, which very few people are willing to do. They're afraid to just, because then they know you're looking inside them. It's a natural thing. The native people wouldn't let people look in their face ever, or take a picture of them. They were very superstitious. All right, but again, no tribe, no religion, no path has much truth. I studied 14. There's 2,000 religions on the planet. Not one of them could talk about anything really important. God. All right. And then when you bring Lucifer to it, he was an angel. He wasn't an evil person, being, or anything. So, people create stories, make it sound bad or this, that. I'm going to say somebody said Lucifer's going to come back and Jesus is going to come down and destroy him. No, never going to happen. Jesus was never a killer. Never destroyed people, take them out. Never. Stood with Satan, couldn't take Satan out either. So when people say things about people they don't really know, is ridiculous. And I challenge people. I'm looking for people that are truly aware of the life of Jesus. My book, The True Teachings of Jesus from God Realization, is out, and it's important. But I'm really working on part 2, which will be much more complicated. Not simple ideas and things like that. The truth. It'll always be the truth, people. I'm under God. Everything I do is responsibility. It goes back to God. I'm responsible to be what God wants me to be, not what I want to be. I'm in Hawaii. I've been writing for the past 20 years. Here, the past 5 years, I didn't go to the ocean. Well, I saw the ocean. I touched it, my feet in it, because I had to take my dog somewhere, or I had to take my partner to the hospital or something like that. But I didn't get to go swimming in that time. I didn't go fishing. I didn't do anything I want to do. Why? Because I'm on a computer day and night, writing letters to all these assholes. Sorry, people. You don't believe in God, you're in trouble. That's your choice. Become one with consciousness. Consciousness is a disaster, people. You want to be united with universal consciousness? There's more ignorance on this planet than ever in history right now. You want to be a part of that? You want to say, well, I'm one with the universal consciousness. Really? Which is pathetic. Look at our planet. It's pathetic. Look at where we could be if we were compassionate people. Imagine that. I don't dream because we're not going there. Well, we're going to become spiritual next year or soon. No, we're not. As long as people believe they're God or one with God, the world's in trouble. When Jesus said, I'm one with God, he meant it totally different. Not that he was God. He never said he was God, ever. Never tried to be God. He never took credit for what he did either. Not like all these psychic healers out there, people. Oh, I'm the top psychic. I'm this and this and that and everything. Really? Prove it. Raise a dead person right now. Take that car and make it fly over to that mountain. Do something. Prove it. Nobody can. Nobody. Caroline Corey with her piece of paper. I'm not going to get into Uri Geller and a magician who was attacking him all the time. All right, one of the greatest older magicians. But there's a trick to do almost anything as well. Levitation and all those words. Nobody ever actually showed real levitation. One guy traveled the world trying to prove it. He went up to Tibet and this mountain into this temple, and the guy made him stay on the other side of the room, and he levitated about this far off the ground. Really? Go 10 feet higher. All right, people, any questions, please. Hawksblood1, AOL.com. How to See God, AOL.com. Truth Beyond the Illusion was my book. My first book is How to See God. When Truth is Called Crazy was my second book. I wrote 5 books. My new one coming out is for women only, and basically it's just that. I don't want men to read it, and then we'll probably, once in a while, might try to read it, but it's for women, for protection against men, people. And they always have been persecuted, and it's getting worse. It's not getting better. No man should have a right to tell a woman what to do with her body, period. Which they always feel they do and have the right to. Muslim religion is horrible for that. The Jewish religion is horrible for that. People, truth is there, and there's not multiple levels. I mean, it's not different truth. All right, truth is one thing, and you can say, well, it's my truth. You don't have a truth. If it's not the truth, you don't have truth. Truth is, if I cut your head off, you're dead. Period. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Or I could stick it back on and I'm okay. No, you're not. The truth is real, people, and it's solid. It's not changeable. Or we can change. No, you can't. What man learns in this reality is only this reality. Dimensions, protons, neutrons, electrons, all those words only relate to this physical reality. Has nothing to do with the astral plane or any of the realms beyond that. None of this garbage exists in them. Well, look for the truth, people. It's out there. Any questions, please feel free to call me, text me, whatever. I'd rather talk than write or type. All right, till next time, probably Wednesday, if I could get Tina to do Wednesday. Look for it. Like I said, go on YouTube, Hawksblood, friend me, and you can see my shows whenever it comes out. Till then, peace, love, compassion, whatever you need in your life. Don't stop. Don't settle for anything less than the truth.
Sky's falling. raised my eyes to the wild blue yonder. They can't believe